The humiliation and the secret, the massive crystalline chamber of the Galactic Council stretched endlessly into the void of space, its transparent walls offering a breathtaking view of the Andromeda spiral. Representatives from across the galaxy had gathered for this historic moment, humanity's first formal request to join the galactic community. Ambassador Dr. Marcus Reed stood at the center of the chamber, his simple human attire a stark contrast to the exotic forms surrounding him. The Velkarian High Chancellor, a towering being of pure energy contained within a shimmering field, spoke first. His voice resonated through the chamber like thunder rolling across mountains. "So, these are the humans we have heard whispers about, the species that barely managed to crawl out of their single star system." Ripples of what could only be described as laughter echoed from the energy being's form. Dr. Reed maintained his composure, though his jaw tightened slightly. He had expected this reaction. "Honored Chancellor, while humanity may be new to interstellar travel, we bring unique perspectives and capabilities to the galactic community. Our species has shown remarkable adaptability and innovation throughout our history." From across the chamber, a representative of the Asterix Collective slithered forward. The serpentine alien scales shifted colors as it spoke, each hue conveying layers of meaning lost to human understanding. "Unique perspectives. Your species took 12,000 years to achieve spaceflight. We accomplished the same feat in 300 of your years. What could you possibly offer us?" The chamber filled with sounds that resembled laughter from dozens of different species. Some clicked their mandibles, others produced harmonic frequencies, and a few simply pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. Dr. Reed felt the weight of their collective amusement, but HFY pressed on. "Our scientific achievements may seem modest compared to yours, but humanity has faced extinction-level events multiple times and emerged stronger. We have developed unique approaches to problem-solving, particularly in theoretical physics and dimensional mathematics." Reed activated his holographic display, showing complex equations and theoretical models. A Zephyrian delegate, resembling a floating crystalline formation, projected its thoughts directly into the chamber. "Dimensional mathematics? How precious. You speak of theories we mastered before your star was born. Your fastest ships barely reach 1/10 light speed, while we traverse the galaxy instantaneously through quantum tunneling." The mockery continued for hours. Each achievement Reed presented was dismissed with condescending explanations of how the aliens had solved the same problems millennia ago with far superior solutions. When he showed humanity's advances in medicine, the Velkarians demonstrated healing technologies that could restore life to the recently deceased. When he presented their achievements in artificial intelligence, the Asterix Collective revealed sentient machines that had transcended the need for physical form entirely. Finally, the High Chancellor's voice boomed across the chamber. "We have heard enough. Humanity will be granted observer status within the galactic community. You may establish trade relationships and learn from your betters, but you will have no voice in galactic affairs. Perhaps in a few thousand years, when you have evolved beyond your current primitive state, we will reconsider." The decision was met with approval from the assembled delegates. Dr. Reed bowed formally, his expression carefully neutral. "We are grateful for this opportunity and look forward to learning from the galactic community." Inside, however, his heart burned with humiliation and determination. As the session ended and the delegates dispersed, Reed made his way to his modest transport vessel. The contrast between his small ship and the magnificent vessels of other species was stark. Some alien craft appeared to be living beings themselves, while others defied conventional physics with their impossible geometries. Reed's ship looked like a child's toy by comparison. Once aboard, Reed activated his secure communication system. The holographic image of a middle-aged woman with intelligent eyes appeared before him. Dr. Sarah Chen, director of Project Aurora, looked expectantly at her old friend and colleague. "How did it go, Marcus?" Chen asked, though the expression on Reed's face already provided her answer. "As expected. We've been granted observer status, essentially the galactic equivalent of being put in the children's table." Reed's voice carried a mixture of frustration and resolve. They dismissed every achievement we presented. According to them, we're barely evolved beyond primitive savages. Chen's expression hardened. Did they show any interest in our dimensional research? None. They consider our theoretical work to be laughably basic compared to their quantum tunneling technology. They have no idea what we've actually accomplished. Reed leaned back in his chair. Sarah, are you certain about the timeline? Can we really achieve stable seventh-dimensional access? A smile played at the corners of Chen's lips. Marcus, we achieved stable access 3 months ago. While you've been playing diplomat, we've been building something that will change the course of galactic history. Deep beneath the Sahara Desert, in a facility that existed in official records only as a geological survey station, Dr. Sarah Chen walked through corridors that hummed with energy from technologies that shouldn't exist. Project Aurora had been humanity's greatest secret for over a decade, funded by a consortium of nations and hidden from both public knowledge and alien surveillance. The main laboratory stretched for hundreds of meters underground, its walls lined with machinery that seemed to bend light around itself. At the center of the chamber stood humanity's greatest achievement, the dimensional gateway. Unlike the crude wormhole generators described in human science fiction, this device manipulated the very fabric of reality itself, accessing dimensions beyond the conventional four that most species understood. Chen approached her chief physicist, Dr. James Okafor, who was monitoring readings from the latest test. Status report, James. Remarkable progress, Director. We've maintained stable seventh-dimensional resonance for over 72 hours now. The power requirements are actually decreasing as the field stabilizes. Okafor's eyes shone with excitement. We're not just accessing the seventh dimension, we're learning to exist within it. The implications were staggering. While other galactic civilizations had mastered travel through conventional space and even quantum tunneling through established dimensional shortcuts, none had achieved true dimensional transcendence. Humanity had unknowingly leapfrogged millions of years of technological evolution. What about the Phoenix Rising? Chen inquired, referring to their experimental vessel designed to operate within seventh-dimensional space. Final integration tests are complete. The ship can now phase between dimensional states at will. When operating in seventh-dimensional space, it's effectively invisible and untouchable by conventional physics. More importantly, it can emerge anywhere in normal space instantaneously, regardless of distance. Chen nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. The aliens had laughed at humanity's primitive technology, but they had no concept of what humans had actually achieved. While they had focused on perfecting existing technologies, humanity had stumbled upon something entirely new. The discovery had been accidental, the result of a failed experiment in quantum computing 5 years earlier. Dr. Elena Vasquez, working late one night in her MIT laboratory, had miscalibrated a quantum field generator. Instead of the expected failure, the device had created a brief window into something that shouldn't exist, a dimension where the normal rules of physics didn't apply. The implications had been immediately clear to the small team of physicists who witnessed the event. They had discovered something beyond the understanding of current science, something that could change humanity's place in the universe forever. The decision to keep the discovery secret had been unanimous, until humanity was ready to reveal its true capabilities to the galaxy. "Director," interrupted Dr. Vasquez, entering the laboratory with obvious excitement. "We've received the transmission from Ambassador Reed. The Galactic Council meeting concluded exactly as we predicted." Chen turned to address the assembled team of scientists and engineers. "Ladies and gentlemen, humanity has been dismissed by the galactic community as primitive and insignificant. They believe we are thousands of years away from achieving anything of importance." She paused, looking around the chamber at technology that would revolutionize galactic civilization. "I think it's time we showed them exactly how wrong they are." The team erupted in cheers and applause. For years they had worked in secret, developing technologies beyond the imagination of even the most advanced alien civilizations. Now they would have the opportunity to demonstrate humanity's true potential. "However," Chen continued, raising her hand for silence, "we cannot simply reveal ourselves without proper justification. The galactic community must first understand that they need us. We must wait for the right moment, when our intervention will be seen not as aggression but as salvation. Dr. Okafor stepped forward. Director, our deep space monitoring stations have detected unusual energy signatures in the Vega system. The readings match theoretical predictions for multi-dimensional cascade failures, something that could threaten multiple star systems if left unchecked. Chen's expression grew serious. How long before the effect reaches inhabited systems? Based on current propagation rates, approximately 6 weeks. The Valkyrian colonies in that region would be the first affected. A moment of silence filled the chamber as the implications sank in. The same species that had mocked humanity just hours before would soon face a threat beyond their comprehension or ability to counter. It would be the perfect opportunity to demonstrate humanity's true capabilities. Begin preparations for Operation Renaissance, Chen ordered. It's time for humanity to take its rightful place among the stars. As the team scattered to their tasks, Chen remained in the chamber, staring at the dimensional gateway. Soon the galaxy would learn that the species they had dismissed as primitive possessed knowledge and power beyond their wildest imagination. The laughter would stop, and a new chapter in galactic history would begin. The revelation and galactic shock. 6 weeks after humanity's humiliation at the Galactic Council, emergency signals blazed across communication networks throughout the galaxy. The Valkyrian High Chancellor, the same energy being who had mocked human achievements, now broadcast desperate pleas for assistance to every civilization with advanced technology. This is High Chancellor Vex High of the Valkyrian Dominion. We are facing an unprecedented crisis in the Vega system. A multi-dimensional anomaly has appeared and is consuming our outer colonies. Our most advanced fleets have been unable to even approach the phenomenon. We require immediate assistance from all member civilizations. In the depths of Project Aurora, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the galactic emergency broadcasts with grim satisfaction. The dimensional cascade failure had progressed exactly as their models predicted. What had begun as a minor spatial distortion had evolved into a reality-consuming vortex that threatened to expand throughout the local galactic region. Status report on the phenomenon, Chen requested from Dr. Okafor. The cascade has consumed 3 Valkyrian colonies and is expanding at an exponential rate. Based on our analysis, conventional physics cannot address this type of multi-dimensional breach. Any ship that approaches using standard propulsion gets caught in the dimensional flux and disintegrates. On the main display, they watched footage from Valkyrian rescue attempts. Massive crystalline warships, each the size of a small moon, approached the swirling anomaly only to be torn apart as they crossed into the distorted space around it. The technology that had seemed so impressive to human observers proved utterly inadequate against forces operating beyond normal dimensional boundaries. The Asterix Collective has also attempted intervention, reported Dr. Vasquez. Their quantum tunneling technology allowed them to get closer than the Valkyrians, but they cannot establish stable passages through the dimensional distortion. Every tunnel they create collapses within minutes. Chen nodded grimly. And the Zephyrians? Their crystalline formations have proven equally ineffective. The anomaly appears to absorb their energy-based attacks and actually grows stronger from the interaction. Across the galaxy, the most advanced civilizations were throwing their greatest technologies at the problem, only to watch helplessly as their efforts failed. Species that had existed for millions of years, that had mastered technologies beyond human comprehension, found themselves facing a phenomenon that rendered their achievements meaningless. Director, interrupted Communications Officer Lieutenant Sarah Kim, we're receiving a direct transmission from Ambassador Reed on Luna Station. The holographic image of Dr. Reed appeared in the chamber. His expression was grave but carried an undertone of anticipation. Sarah, the situation here is unprecedented. The Galactic Council has convened an emergency session. Every major civilization is contributing their most advanced fleets and technologies, but nothing is working. The anomaly has consumed 7 systems now and shows no signs of slowing. Chen leaned forward. What's the current galactic assessment of the threat? Complete catastrophe. Their best scientists estimate that if the phenomenon continues expanding at its current rate, it will consume the entire galactic core within 6 months. We're looking at potential extinction for dozens of civilizations. Reed paused. Sarah, they're desperate. The same species that dismissed us as primitive are now grasping at any possible solution. Have they requested human assistance? Reed's expression grew bitter. Not directly. The High Chancellor mentioned that even developing species might have insights that could prove useful, but it was clearly stated as a last resort. They still view us as barely evolved beyond our ancestral state. Chen exchanged glances with her team. The moment they had been waiting for had arrived. Marcus informed the Galactic Council that humanity would like to contribute to the relief efforts. Request permission to send a single vessel to the affected region. A single vessel? Sarah, they have thousands of ships out there, each more advanced than anything in our official fleet. What can one human ship possibly accomplish? Chen smiled. Trust me, Marcus. One ship will be more than sufficient. Hours later, the emergency session of the Galactic Council reconvened. The chamber that had once rung with laughter at human achievements now buzzed with desperate energy. Representatives who had previously exhibited absolute confidence in their technological superiority now showed clear signs of fear and uncertainty. Ambassador Reed stood once again at the center of the chamber, but the atmosphere had changed completely. Where before he had been treated as an amusing diversion, now he commanded attention born of desperation. Honored representatives, Reed began, humanity offers its assistance in addressing the current crisis. We request permission to send one of our vessels to contribute to the relief efforts. The Velcarian High Chancellor's energy form fluctuated with what appeared to be frustration. Ambassador Reed, while we appreciate the gesture, we must be realistic about capabilities. If our most advanced fleets cannot approach the anomaly, how can your primitive vessels hope to succeed? Nevertheless, Reed replied calmly, we would like the opportunity to try. Human ingenuity has often found solutions through unconventional approaches. A Zephyrian delegate projected its thoughts into the chamber. Very well. One human vessel may join the relief fleet. Perhaps observing the phenomenon firsthand will provide your species with educational value, even if you cannot contribute meaningfully to the solution. The condescension in the statement was clear, but Reed simply nodded respectfully. We are grateful for the opportunity. What the Galactic representatives didn't know was that as they spoke, the Phoenix Rising was already approaching the Vega system through seventh-dimensional space. Captain Elena Rodriguez, humanity's most skilled dimensional navigator, stood on the bridge of a vessel that defied every principle of conventional physics. The Phoenix Rising appeared to be a modest human cruiser from the outside, indistinguishable from the vessel's other species had dismissed as primitive. Inside, however, it contained technology that operated on principles unknown to galactic science. The ship existed simultaneously in normal space and the seventh dimension, allowing it to phase between realities at will. Captain, reported Navigator Tom Chen, Dr. Sarah Chen's younger brother, we're approaching the anomaly, switching to seventh-dimensional sensors. The main display showed a view that no other species in the galaxy could perceive. While conventional sensors showed only a chaotic, swirling vortex of destruction, seventh-dimensional analysis revealed the underlying structure of the phenomenon. It was indeed a dimensional cascade failure, but one that could be stabilized using principles that humanity alone understood. Analysis confirms our theoretical projections, reported Chief Science Officer Dr. Maria Santos. The anomaly is a breach between the third and fifth dimensions, but it's unstable because it lacks proper seventh-dimensional anchoring. We can stabilize it by establishing resonance points at specific coordinates. Captain Rodriguez nodded. Begin the approach. Take us to the edge of the affected region, but remain in seventh-dimensional phase until we're ready to reveal ourselves. As the Phoenix Rising moved closer to the anomaly, the ship passed through the massive fleet of alien vessels that had gathered to address the crisis. Thousands of ships from dozens of civilizations formed a perimeter around the phenomenon, their combined technological might representing the greatest force ever assembled in galactic history. Yet they could only watch helplessly as the anomaly continued to expand. Captain, Communications Officer Lisa Park announced, we're receiving transmissions from the fleet. They're attempting another coordinated assault on the anomaly using synchronized quantum tunneling. On the display, they watched as the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy launched their final attempt at stopping the dimensional breach. Hundreds of ships fired simultaneously, their combined energy output capable of destroying entire star systems. For a moment, the anomaly seemed to contract slightly, and hope flickered throughout the alien fleet. Then the phenomenon exploded outward with renewed vigor, consuming 2 more Valkyrian vessels that had approached too closely. The technological pinnacle of galactic civilization had not only failed to stop the threat, but had actually made it worse. "Fleet is in full retreat," reported Navigator Chen. "They're falling back to minimum safe distance." Captain Rodriguez stood. "It's time. Bring us into normal space directly in front of the anomaly. Make sure every ship in the fleet can see us." "Captain," Dr. Santos warned, "that position is within the zone where every other vessel has been destroyed." Rodriguez smiled grimly. "Doctor, we're not every other vessel." The Phoenix Rising shimmered into existence in the heart of the danger zone, where no ship had been able to survive. Throughout the alien fleet, sensors registered the sudden appearance of a single human vessel in a location that should have meant instant destruction. On the bridge of the Valkyrian flagship, High Chancellor Vex High's energy form flickered with shock. "How is this possible? No vessel can survive in that region. The dimensional flux should have torn them apart instantly." Similar expressions of disbelief rippled through the fleet as representatives from every major civilization tried to comprehend what they were witnessing. The primitive humans had placed their vessel in a position where the galaxy's most advanced ships couldn't survive for even moments. "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the human vessel Phoenix Rising," came the transmission that changed galactic history forever. "We are beginning stabilization procedures for the dimensional anomaly. All vessels maintain current distance for your safety." The alien fleet watched in stunned silence as the modest human ship began to work. Unlike the massive energy discharges and complex quantum manipulations attempted by other species, the Phoenix Rising's approach was subtle and elegant. The ship itself seemed to phase in and out of normal space, each transition creating small ripples that propagated toward the anomaly. "Establishing 7th dimensional resonance points," Dr. Santos reported. "Anomaly is beginning to stabilize." Throughout the alien fleet, scientists and commanders watched their instruments in growing amazement. The chaotic energy readings from the anomaly were beginning to organize into coherent patterns. The expanding edge of the phenomenon had stopped growing and was actually beginning to contract. "Impossible," whispered the Asterix Collective representative. "They're manipulating dimensional space directly. How can a primitive species possess such knowledge?" For the next 3 hours, the Phoenix Rising worked methodically to contain and stabilize the dimensional breach. The ship moved through space in patterns that seemed to violate the laws of physics, sometimes appearing in multiple locations simultaneously, sometimes vanishing entirely, only to reappear elsewhere. Finally, Captain Rodriguez's voice carried across the communication channels again. "Dimensional anomaly has been fully stabilized and contained. The threat to surrounding systems has been eliminated." Where once a reality-consuming vortex had threatened the galaxy, now only a small, stable portal remained, its edges glowing with controlled energy that posed no danger to nearby space. The silence throughout the alien fleet was deafening. Species that had dismissed humanity as barely evolved beyond primitives had just witnessed a single human vessel accomplish what their combined fleets could not. The implications were staggering and would reshape the balance of galactic power forever. High Chancellor Vex High was the first to break the silence, his voice carrying none of its previous arrogance. "Captain Rodriguez, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I must ask, how did you accomplish this? What technology allowed you to succeed where our combined fleets failed?" Captain Rodriguez's response was calm and measured. "High Chancellor, humanity has developed certain capabilities in dimensional physics that we have not previously shared with the galactic community. We felt it was time to demonstrate our true potential." The admission sent shockwaves through the alien fleet. The species they had mocked for their primitive technology had secretly developed science beyond their comprehension. Every assumption about humanity's place in the galaxy was suddenly called into question. "Representatives of the galactic community," Captain Rodriguez continued, "humanity extends an invitation to join us in exploring the possibilities of 7th dimensional physics. We believe that cooperation and knowledge sharing will benefit all civilizations." For the first time in galactic history, the most advanced species in known space found themselves in the position of students rather than shares. The humans they had laughed at now possessed the most revolutionary technology in the galaxy, and the balance of power had shifted in a single day. As the Phoenix Rising prepared to return to Earth, carrying with it requests for diplomatic meetings from every major civilization, Captain Rodriguez reflected on how quickly circumstances could change. Humanity had proven that true advancement came not from perfecting existing knowledge, but from discovering entirely new possibilities. The galaxy would never underestimate humanity again.